I found the burner phone taped under our bathroom sink while fixing a leak at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. My wife Ashley was still asleep. I'd woken early because water had been dripping into the cabinet below, warping the wood. I'm particular about our house. We'd spent 3 years renovating this 1920s craftsman in Portland, doing most of the work ourselves. Every tile, every fixture meant something. The phone was a cheap Android, secured with duct tape to the underside of the sink basin where the plumber would never look. Where I would never look, except I had to remove the P-trap, and there it was, a small black rectangle that didn't belong. My hands were wet. I remember that detail because when I powered it on, I had to wipe my fingers on my jeans first. The screen lit up. No password. The messages loaded. There were hundreds of them. I sat on the cold bathroom floor, my toolbox open beside me, reading. The earliest messages went back 11 months, almost a year. The contact was saved as J, and the texts were explicit enough that I understood immediately what I was looking at, even through the careful euphemisms they used. Meeting times. Hotel names. Things they wanted to do to each other. Things they had done. My wife of 8 years was having an affair. The most recent message was from yesterday. Tomorrow at the usual place, 2 p.m. Can't wait to taste you again. Ashley had told me she had a client meeting tomorrow. Today, actually, since it was already morning. She was an interior designer with her own small firm. Client meetings were normal. I never questioned them. I heard her alarm go off in the bedroom. The cheerful chime made my stomach turn. I powered off the phone and slipped it into my pocket, then forced myself to finish fixing the leak. My hands moved automatically, tightening the connection, testing for drips. Everything worked fine now. Everything except my marriage. Babe? Ashley's voice drifted from the bedroom. You up already? Fixing the sink, I called back. My voice sounded normal. That surprised me. She appeared in the doorway wearing one of my old t-shirts, her blonde hair messy from sleep. She was beautiful. 34 years old, same as me, with the kind of smile that had made me propose after 6 months of dating. We'd been together for 10 years total. We had a daughter, Emma, who was 6. My hero, she said, leaning against the doorframe. Want me to make coffee? Sure. I stood up, wiping my hands on a rag. I need a shower anyway. She kissed my cheek as she passed. I smelled her shampoo, coconut and vanilla. The same scent for years. How many times had Jay smelled it on her? I showered on autopilot, then dressed for work. I'm a software engineer for a healthcare company, fully remote since the pandemic. My office was upstairs. Ashley's studio was downtown, a small space she shared with another designer. At least that's what she'd told me. At breakfast, I watched her butter Emma's toast and pour juice. She was humming. Actually humming. Emma was chattering about her upcoming field trip to the zoo. Ashley laughed at something our daughter said, her eyes crinkling at the corners. You okay? Ashley asked, glancing at me. You're quiet. Didn't sleep great, I said. Heard the drip all night. Well, it's fixed now, right? Thanks for handling it. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Her wedding ring caught the morning light. What would I do without you? The question hung in the air. What would she do without me? Apparently, she'd been preparing to find out for almost a year. After I dropped Emma at school, my day to do it, I drove to a coffee shop across town and sat in my car, reading through the burner phone again. This time, I took screenshots with my own phone. Every message. Every photo, though those were mostly innocent. Pictures of Jay at what looked like a gym, a few selfies. A man in his early 40s, dark hair, fit. Handsome in a generic way. The messages told a story. It had started at some kind of networking event. Flirting at first, then phone numbers exchanged. The burner phones were his idea, He'd suggested them in an early text, said he valued discretion. That phrase made me want to put my fist through my windshield. They'd been meeting twice a week, sometimes more, always during work hours. The Riverside Hotel downtown was mentioned frequently. Room 412 seemed to be a favorite. I had options. I could confront her now. I could throw the phone at her feet and watch her scramble to explain. Part of me wanted that. Wanted to see her face when she realized she'd been caught. But I didn't get where I am by making impulsive decisions. I'm a systems thinker. I solve problems methodically. And this was a problem that required careful handling, especially with Emma to consider. Instead, I called my buddy Tyler, an attorney who specialized in family law. We'd gone to college together, stayed close. He was one of the groomsmen at my wedding. "Got a hypothetical for you," I said when he picked up. "Nothing good ever starts with hypothetical," Tyler said. "What's going on?" "If someone found evidence of infidelity, what's the smartest way to handle it? Legally speaking?" There was a pause. "This isn't hypothetical, is it?" "No." "Come to my office. Don't confront her yet. Don't do anything yet. Just come in and we'll talk." I checked the time. It was 10:15 a.m. Ashley's client meeting was at 2 p.m. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, I said. Tyler's office was in a converted warehouse in the Pearl District, all exposed brick and industrial lighting. I'd been there twice before, once for his housewarming party, once when Ashley and I updated our wills after Emma was born. That second visit felt like it happened in someone else's life. He was waiting when I arrived at 10:15. No receptionist. Tyler ran a small practice, just him and a paralegal who worked mornings. The door to his private office stood open. "Come in," he said. "Close it behind you." I did. Tyler looked the same as always. Sandy hair starting to thin, wireframe glasses, the same Columbia Law sweatshirt he'd been wearing since 2012. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. "Show me what you got." I handed him my phone. He scrolled through the screenshots without expression, his face neutral in that way lawyers have. It took him maybe 10 minutes to go through all of them. When he finished, he set the phone down carefully. "This is solid," he said. "Timestamps, explicit content, pattern of behavior. Oregon's a no-fault state, but this affects asset division and it sure as hell affects custody arguments. What do I do?" "Nothing yet?" He leaned back in his chair. "You don't confront. You don't tip your hand. You document everything. Where she goes, when she comes home, any expenses you can track. I'll file the paperwork, we'll serve her when we're ready, and she won't see it coming." "There's a meeting today," I said. 2 o'clock, Riverside Hotel. Tyler's eyebrows went up slightly. "You thinking about going?" "I don't know." "My advice? Don't. You see them together, you might do something stupid, something that hurts you in court." He pushed his glasses up. "Let me get the retainer agreement drawn up. We'll move fast, but we'll move smart." I nodded. My hands felt strange, like they belonged to someone else. "Go home," Tyler said. "Act normal. I'll call you tonight." I left his office at 10:47. The morning had turned gray. Typical Portland weather. Not quite raining, but threatening to. I sat in my car for a while, staring at the dashboard. Act normal. Right. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley. "Forgot to mention, meeting might run long. Can you get Emma from school?" I typed back, "Sure." Another buzz, almost immediately. "You're the best. Love you." Asterisk. I didn't answer that one. I didn't go home. Instead, I drove to a coffee shop on Hawthorne, ordered something I didn't drink, and sat by the window. My laptop was in the car. I could work. I should work. I had a code review due by end of day. Instead, I opened a browser and typed Riverside Hotel Portland Into the search bar. The website loaded. Boutique hotel, renovated historic building, room starting at $240 a night. I clicked through to the gallery. Room 412 looked generic. King bed, neutral colors, abstract art on the walls. The kind of place that appeared in 1,000 identical hotels across the country. Almost a year, twice a week. Call it 80 visits, give or take, times $240. I closed the laptop. At 1:30, I was in my car again. I didn't plan it. My hands just turned the wheel, following a route I'd looked up without meaning to. The Riverside Hotel was downtown, a 7-story brick building wedged between a parking garage and a Thai restaurant. Valet parking out front. I drove past it once, circling the block, then found street parking 2 blocks away. This was stupid. Tyler had been clear. Don't do something stupid. I checked the time. 1:43. I got out of the car. The lobby was small, trying for upscale. Marble floors, leather furniture, a desk with a young guy in a vest behind it. I walked past him like I belonged there, heading for the elevators. He didn't look up from his computer. 4th floor. The hallway was empty, burgundy carpet muffling my footsteps. Room numbers in brass: 408, 410, 412. I stopped outside 412. Stared at the door. Listened. Nothing. What was I doing? What did I think would happen? I'd knock, Ashley would answer. I'd, what? Make a scene? Get myself arrested? I turned to leave. The elevator dinged. I didn't think. I just moved, stepping into the alcove where the ice machine hummed. Through the gap between the machine and the wall, I had a partial view of the hallway. Ashley stepped out first. She wore the gray dress she'd mentioned at breakfast, the one that made her look professional. Her hair was down. She was smiling. Then he emerged behind her. Tall, dark hair with gray at the temples, good suit. Early 40s, just like the messages said. His hand touched the small of her back as they walked toward 412. She had a key card. She must have picked it up from the desk while I was parking, or maybe she had a standing arrangement. The door opened. They went inside. The door closed. I stood there, pressed against the ice machine, my heart doing something arrhythmic in my chest. The ice machine's compressor kicked on, vibrating against my shoulder. I should leave. I should get out of here before I did something that would cost me everything. I didn't move. At 2:17, my phone buzzed. I pulled it out, hands shaking. Unknown number. The text said, "You're at the hotel, 4th floor. Don't knock on that door. Meet me in the parking garage. Level 2. 5 minutes. This is important." I stared at the screen. Read it again. Another buzz. "I'm the guy from the phone. We need to talk. Now." My first thought was trap. My second thought was, what kind of trap? And my third thought, the one that made me move, was simpler. I wanted to see his face when I broke his jaw. I took the stairs down, came out through a side exit into the parking garage. Level 2 was half empty, concrete pillars casting shadows from the fluorescent lights overhead. He was standing next to a black Lexus, hands in his pockets. When he saw me, he didn't move. I walked toward him. He was maybe 6'1", fit but not bulky, expensive watch, wedding ring on his left hand. His face was exactly like the photos. Handsome in a way that would photograph well, the kind of face you'd trust to sell you insurance. "How did you know I was here?" I said. "I saw you in the lobby, recognized you from Ashley's Instagram." He spoke quickly, quietly. "Listen to me. We don't have much time." "Time for what?" "For me to—" "We're both in danger," he said. "She's using us both." I stopped walking. "What?" "My name's Jordan Pratt. I'm a prosecutor. King County, up in Seattle." He pulled out his wallet, flipped it open to show me a badge and ID. Ashley told you I'm a client, right? Some guy she's decorating an office for? I didn't answer. She told me she was divorced, Jordan said. Showed me papers and everything. Said her ex was abusive, that she had a restraining order. I believed her. His voice was tight. Then 2 weeks ago, I found out she's still married. To you. Living with you. I confronted her about it, and he stopped. Things changed. What things? She knows I know too much about her, about what she's been doing, and not just with me. He glanced toward the garage entrance. There's money missing from my accounts. $40,000 over 6 months. She had access to my banking information. I gave it to her for a vacation we were planning. My mouth felt dry. You're saying she stole from you. I'm saying she's been stealing from both of us. Check your accounts. Really check them. The ones she has access to. He took a step closer. I started asking questions. Now she's scared. And when Ashley gets scared, people get hurt. That's insane. Is it? Jordan's eyes were hard. You found the phone, didn't you? That's why you're here. You found it and you tracked her, and now you're standing in a parking garage instead of calling the cops. Why? Because Tyler said to document everything. Because I wanted to understand. Because she's up there right now, Jordan said. Probably telling me it's over, that you found out, that she needs to focus on her marriage. Playing the victim. That's what she does. He pulled out his own phone, showed me a screenshot. Bank statement, withdrawal for $8,000. This was last month. I didn't authorize it. There are 6 more like it. I looked at the numbers. My brain tried to process them, to fit them into the story I thought I knew. Why are you telling me this? I said. Because you're next. Jordan put his phone away. I know too much now. I'm a problem. So she'll make me go away, file a complaint with my office, claim I harassed her, stalked her, whatever story works. I'll lose my job, maybe my license. And you? He shook his head. You're the husband. You're the biggest problem of all. She's going to destroy you in the divorce, take everything, and make sure you look like the bad guy doing it. You don't know that. I'm a prosecutor, Jordan said. I know how people like her operate. We need to work together, pool what we know, protect ourselves. I stared at him. This man, this person who'd been sleeping with my wife for a year. Why would I trust you? Because right now, Jordan said, I'm the only person telling you the truth. The parking garage smelled like oil and stale exhaust. Jordan Pratt stood 3 feet away, his expensive suit jacket hanging open, his tie loosened. He looked like he'd aged 5 years in the past hour. You're insane, I said. My voice echoed off the concrete walls. You're having an affair with my wife and now you're trying to, what? Make yourself the victim. Check your accounts. He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen, then turned it toward me. This is my investment account. Chase. I opened it in March. Started with $60,000. Look at the balance. I looked. $19,412. Could be anything, I said. Bad investments. You're trying to... The withdrawals match her travel schedule exactly. He swiped through screens. June 15th, $3,000 gone. She was in Seattle that weekend. Told me she had a design consultation. July 23rd, $5,000. August 9th, $4,500. Every single time she was supposedly visiting her mother in Spokane. My stomach went cold. Ashley's mother lived in Boise, not Spokane. And she died 2 years ago. She has your account information? I asked. I gave it to her. He laughed, a bitter sound. She said she wanted to help me organize my finances. She's a designer, right? Good with details, with systems. Made sense at the time. He put the phone away. I trusted her. I thought we were building something. You thought you were building something with a married woman. A woman who told me she was divorced. His jaw tightened. Look, I know how this sounds. I know what I am. But I didn't know about you. Not until 3 days ago. How? She got careless. Left her real phone on my bathroom counter. It buzzed. I saw the lock screen. Emma's soccer practice at 4. Then another message. Love you too with a heart emoji from someone named David. He met my eyes. That's you, right? David? I didn't answer. I looked her up. Found the business registration for her firm. Found your names together on the deed for your house. Found your daughter's school photos on Facebook. He rubbed his face. I confronted her yesterday. She cried. Said you were abusive. Said she was trapped. Said she needed more time to get away safely. And you believed her? For about 6 hours. He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. Then my accountant called. I'd asked him to audit everything after I noticed the discrepancies. He found this. He handed me the envelope. Inside were printouts of bank statements, wire transfers, cashier's checks, all made out to something called Clearwater Holdings LLC. Amounts ranging from $2,500 to $8,000. Dates going back 7 months. I looked up Clearwater Holdings, Jordan said. Registered in Delaware 3 years ago. Guess who the managing member is? I already knew. Ashley. Ashley Marie Brennan. Your wife? My girlfriend? The woman who's upstairs right now, probably telling me through text that she'll be down in 20 minutes, that she loves me, that we just need to be patient. I looked at the printouts again. The dates. July 9th, August 17th, September 3rd. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app. My hands were shaking. Our joint checking account looked normal, but we had separate accounts too. Financial independence, Ashley had called it. Healthy boundaries in a marriage. I'd thought it was mature, progressive. I opened my personal savings account. The balance was $32,000. It should have been $78,000. I scrolled through the transaction history. Transfers to external accounts. Amounts that matched Jordan's list almost exactly. Different dates, but the same pattern. The same systematic bleeding. Jesus Christ, I whispered. Now you see it. Jordan's voice was flat. She's been playing us both. Probably has been for a while. The affair, the lies, the separate phones. It's all infrastructure. She's running a con. On her own husband? On everyone. He took the envelope back. I started digging deeper. Found 2 other LLCs registered to her. Different names, different states. I can't access the accounts, but I'd bet money she's got more victims. More men who think they're special. More accounts she's draining. I thought about the hotel rooms, the regular schedule, the careful documentation on the burner phone, not love notes, transaction records. Why tell me? I asked. Why not just cut your losses and run? Because I think she knows I figured it out. He glanced toward the elevator. Yesterday, after I confronted her, she changed, just for a second. The tears stopped. Her face went blank. Then the crying started again, but it was different, performed. He swallowed. She asked me if I'd told anyone about us, about the money. I said no. She smiled and said that was good. That it was safer that way. Safer. Her exact word. He met my eyes. I'm a prosecutor. I've seen this before. When someone gets backed into a corner, when they realize their operation is compromised, they don't just fold. They eliminate the threat. You think she'd... I couldn't finish the sentence. I think she's capable of more than either of us realized. He pulled out a flash drive. I've copied everything. Bank records, messages, photos, evidence of the LLCs, the transfers, all of it. I'm giving you a copy. Why? Because I'm leaving. Tonight. I'm taking emergency leave from the prosecutor's office and I'm going somewhere she can't find me until I figure out my next move. He pressed the flash drive into my hand. But you can't leave. You have a daughter. You have a house, a life. You're trapped. The word hung between us. Trapped. She's going to come after you, Jordan continued. When she realizes you know, when she understands the game is over, she'll do whatever it takes to protect herself, destroy evidence, discredit you, maybe worse. You're being paranoid. Am I? He stepped closer. You found that burner phone this morning. Pure accident, right? Plumbing problem? I nodded. How often do pipes leak in a house you've been renovating for 3 years? I thought about it. The P-trap had been secure, the connections tight. I'd checked that bathroom's plumbing 6 months ago. Everything had been solid. Someone loosened it, I said slowly. She wanted you to find it. She's setting something up. Jordan's voice dropped. Maybe she's planning to claim you're abusive, controlling, that you hacked her phone, stalked her, threatened her. With your tech background, it would be believable. She files for divorce, gets a restraining order, takes everything. Meanwhile, the money's already gone, hidden in accounts you can't touch. That's insane. Is it? Think about it. Really think. He checked his watch. We have maybe 15 minutes before she comes down. You need to decide right now whether you're going to keep pretending everything is fine or whether you're going to protect yourself. I looked at the flash drive in my hand, then at my phone, at the missing $46,000. What do you suggest? First, we document this conversation. I'm going to send you an email from my work account confirming everything I've told you. Timestamp it. Make it official. He was already typing on his phone. Second, you go to your attorney today, not tomorrow. Today. Show him everything. File first. File for divorce? File for everything. Divorce, fraud charges, restraint on assets. You need to freeze her out before she freezes you out. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his face went pale. She's asking me to come up. Says she has a surprise. We both looked at the elevator. Don't go, I said. I'm not. He was already backing toward the exit. I'm going straight to the airport. I have a flight to Phoenix in 3 hours. My sister lives there. I'll figure out the rest later. Wait. Check your email in 5 minutes. Everything will be there. He paused at the door. I'm sorry about all of this. I thought I was in love. Turns out I was just another mark. Then he was gone. I stood alone in the parking garage, holding a flash drive that contained evidence my wife had been systematically robbing me for months. Above me, in room 412, Ashley was waiting for a man who would never arrive. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley. Meeting running long. Be home by 6. Love you. I stared at the message, at the casual lie, at the heart emoji. Then I got in my car and drove to Tyler's office. The receptionist at Tyler's firm barely looked up as I pushed through the glass doors. My shirt was still damp with sweat from the parking garage confrontation, and I could feel the manila envelope Jordan had given me pressed against my ribs inside my jacket. He's expecting you, she said, pointing toward the conference room. Tyler was already standing when I walked in, his phone pressed to his ear. He held up one finger, finished his conversation, then locked the door behind me. You look like hell, he said. I dropped the envelope on the table between us. Jordan Pratt just ambushed me in a parking garage. Ashley's lover. He's a prosecutor from Seattle, and he says she's been running a financial fraud scheme. Multiple victims, shell companies. He showed me evidence that $46,000 is missing from our accounts. Tyler's expression didn't change, but he pulled out a chair and sat down. Start from the beginning. I told him everything. The confrontation. Jordan's claims about being told I was an abusive ex. The shell company. The missing money from both our accounts. Jordan's theory that Ashley was setting me up for false accusations. He said we're both in danger, I finished. That she's using us both. And now that he knows too much, he's in the way. That I'm next. Tyler opened the envelope and spread the contents across the table. Bank statements, screenshots of text messages I hadn't seen, corporate registration documents for Clearwater Holdings, LLC, registered to Ashley's name at an address I didn't recognize. A second LLC called Riverside Consulting Group. A third called Pacific Design Associates. 3 shell companies, Tyler said quietly. All registered in the past 18 months. Is he telling the truth? About the companies? These documents look legitimate. Tyler pulled out his laptop and started typing. I can verify the registrations. The financial claims will take longer. My phone buzzed. Ashley. Hey, babe. Finishing up with the Riverside client. Should be home by 6. Can you pick up Emma? The Riverside client. Room 412. Except Jordan was gone, fled to Phoenix according to his final text. I stared at the message, trying to understand what she was doing right now. Who she was meeting, if anyone. Whether she knew yet that everything was falling apart. Don't respond, Tyler said, looking at my screen. Not yet. He turned his laptop around. 3 LLC registrations, exactly as Jordan had documented. All listing Ashley as registered agent. All showing business addresses at UPS stores or mail forwarding services. This is sophisticated, Tyler said. Not something you set up on a whim. These were established over time, with planning. So he's telling the truth. About the companies, yes. About his version of events. Tyler leaned back. That's harder to verify. He could be a victim. He could also be a co-conspirator trying to get ahead of exposure by framing himself as another Mark. He seemed terrified. Or he's a prosecutor who knows how to perform credibility. Tyler pulled up another screen. I'm checking court records in King County, Washington. If he's really a prosecutor, there should be a trail. I sat down, my legs suddenly unsteady. The conference room was too bright, the overhead lights making everything sharp and clinical. Through the window, I could see the parking lot where I'd left my car. Normal people doing normal things. Going to normal jobs, having normal problems. Found him, Tyler said. Jordan Matthew Pratt, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney, King County, specialized in white-collar crime, ironically. Employment record goes back 7 years. He clicked through several pages. No disciplinary actions, no public complaints. He's legitimate. Which means Ashley convinced a prosecutor specializing in financial crimes that she was a victim of domestic abuse, then stole $40,000 from him. If his story is accurate, yes. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a number I didn't recognize. This is Jordan. I'm at SeaTac. Flight boards in 20 minutes. Check your email. I sent you everything I have. Watch your back. She's going to know something's wrong when I don't show up today. Tyler watched me read it. What does he mean when he doesn't show up? They had a standing appointment. Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Riverside. So in about, Tyler checked his watch. 3 hours. Ashley is going to arrive at that hotel room and find it empty. What do you think she'll do? I thought about the woman who'd buttered toast in our kitchen this morning, who'd kissed Emma goodbye and reminded her about the field trip permission slip, who'd smiled at me with such easy warmth that I'd almost forgotten what I knew. She'll call him, I said. When he doesn't answer, she'll text. When he doesn't respond to that, she'll know something's wrong. The question is whether she'll connect it to you. My email notification chimed. Jordan's message had no subject line, just an attachment labeled Evidence Complete. The file was 47 megabytes. Tyler's printer hummed to life as we started going through it. More bank statements, these ones showing the full scope of the missing money. Jordan had documented every withdrawal, every transfer. Ashley had been careful, taking amounts small enough not to trigger automatic alerts. 2,000 here, 3,000 there. Over 11 months, it added up. She used the affair to distract him, I said, watching the pages pile up. The hotel rooms, the romantic messages. He was focused on the relationship while she was draining his accounts. Same pattern with you, Tyler said. How long has she been making unusual purchases, explaining away expenses as business costs? I thought about the past year. The new office furniture she'd said was necessary for client meetings, the upgraded computer equipment, the business trip to San Francisco that had seemed longer than necessary. I'd been working, focused on my own projects, trusting her to manage her business finances. I never questioned it, I said. She has her own firm, her own clients. Why would I audit her spending? Because you trusted her. Tyler sorted the documents into piles. That's what makes this work. The affair wasn't the crime. It was the cover. My phone rang. Ashley, this time calling instead of texting. Don't answer, Tyler said. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, the notification appeared. Hey, just wanted to confirm about Emma. Also, did you need anything from the store? I can stop on the way home. Love you. Love you. 2 words she'd said 10,000 times in 8 years. 2 words that had meant something once, or that I'd believed meant something. I couldn't tell anymore which memories were real and which were part of whatever performance she'd been running. She sounds normal, I said. She doesn't know yet that anything's wrong. Jordan's flight doesn't board for another 15 minutes. She won't expect him to go silent until he doesn't show up at the hotel. Tyler checked his watch again. We have maybe 4 hours before she starts to panic. We need to use that time. To do what? Secure everything. I need you to go home and document the state of your house. Photograph everything. Your bedroom, your office, anywhere she might claim you were violent or threatening. I need you to download every financial record you can access. Bank statements, credit cards, investment accounts, everything. Then I need you to take Emma and go somewhere else. Go where? Your parents, a hotel. Somewhere she can't find you immediately. Tyler started gathering the documents. If Jordan's right about her setting you up for abuse claims, she's going to need evidence. The most common move is to create a situation where you look threatening, an argument that gets physical, a confrontation she can document. She stole nearly $100,000 from 2 different men while conducting an affair and running multiple shell companies. What exactly do you think she wouldn't do? I stood up, the room tilting slightly. I need to get Emma from school. What time? 3:15. That gives you 2 hours to document everything at the house. I'll file an emergency motion for a temporary restraining order and exclusive use of the residence. We can claim you discovered evidence of financial fraud and fear for your safety. It won't hold forever, but it'll buy us time to investigate properly. This is really happening. Tyler looked at me across the table covered in evidence of my wife's systematic betrayal. This is really happening, and if Jordan's right, it's about to get worse. Ashley is going to realize something's wrong in a few hours. We need to be ahead of her when she does. I picked up my phone and opened the photo app. Started scrolling through the pictures there. Emma's birthday party last month. Our anniversary dinner. Ashley laughing at something I'd said, her hand on my arm, her eyes bright with what I'd believed was love. David, Tyler said, I need you focused. Can you do this? I put the phone away. Yes. Good. Go home. Document everything. Get Emma. Then disappear until I tell you it's safe. Don't tell Ashley where you're going. Don't respond to her messages unless I approve the text first. And David? Yeah? Whatever you think you know about your wife, assume you're wrong. Assume she's 3 steps ahead. Assume everything she's ever told you might be a lie. He handed me a business card. This is a private investigator I use. Call him from the road. He needs to start digging into those shell companies today. I took the card, walked to the door, turned back. Tyler, what if Jordan's lying? What if this is all some elaborate setup and I'm about to blow up my marriage over a con artist story? Then you'll have documented evidence that you acted reasonably based on credible information, and we'll deal with the fallout. But David? He gestured at the piles of corporate documents, bank statements, and screenshots. This isn't a con. This is real, and you need to start treating it that way before she realizes you know. I left the office at 1:47 p.m. Ashley would arrive at the Riverside Hotel in approximately 3 hours to find an empty room and a missing lover. I had that long to prepare for whatever came next. I sat in the parking lot of Emma's school, engine running, hands gripping the steering wheel. The clock on the dashboard read 11:47 a.m. I'd called the office 15 minutes ago, told them Emma had a dentist appointment. The receptionist hadn't questioned it. My phone sat in the cup holder. No calls from Ashley yet. She wouldn't expect Jordan for another 2 hours. I had time, but not much. Tyler's words kept cycling through my head. Document everything. Get Emma. Disappear. I got out of the car and walked toward the main entrance. The hallway smelled like floor wax and cafeteria food. I signed Emma out at the office, waited while they called her classroom. She appeared 5 minutes later, backpack bouncing against her shoulders, confusion written across her face. Daddy? Are you sick? No, sweetheart. Just taking the afternoon off. Thought we could do something fun. Her face brightened immediately. 6-year-olds didn't question good fortune. We drove to the house in silence, her humming something from a cartoon, me running through Tyler's instructions. Get the important documents. Ashley's laptop, if possible. The burner phone. Anything that proved the money existed before it disappeared. The driveway was empty when we pulled in. Ashley's car wouldn't return until after her client meeting at the hotel. I had at least 3 hours, probably 4. Can I watch TV? Emma asked as we walked inside. Sure, pick whatever you want. She ran to the living room. I heard the television click on, the bright noise of children's programming filling the house. I went upstairs to our bedroom. The space looked exactly as it had this morning. Bed made with Ashley's usual precision, decorative pillows arranged just so. Our wedding photo on the dresser, both of us smiling in front of the courthouse. We'd gotten married there because Ashley said she didn't want a big production. Simple and meaningful, she'd said. I wondered now if she just wanted to avoid the expense. I opened her nightstand drawer. The usual contents: hand cream, a paperback romance novel, reading glasses. I moved to her dresser, going through each drawer methodically. Clothes, jewelry, a box of old birthday cards I'd given her over the years. Nothing. Her laptop sat on the desk by the window, closed. I opened it, waited for it to boot up. Password protected. I tried Emma's birthday, our anniversary, Ashley's birthday. None of them worked. I took photos of the laptop's serial number and model, then closed it. Tyler could subpoena it later. The closet was next. I went through the shelves, checked coat pockets, looked inside shoe boxes. In the back corner, behind a stack of sweaters, I found a small fireproof safe I'd never seen before. It was locked. I pulled it out, set it on the bed. The thing weighed maybe 10 pounds, black metal with a 4-digit combination lock. I tried Emma's birthday again. Nothing. Our anniversary. Nothing. Then I tried the date Ashley and I had first met. 0614. The lock clicked open. Inside were documents. Business filings for the 3 shell companies Jordan had mentioned. Clearwater Holdings, LLC, Riverside Consulting Group, Pacific Design Associates. Each one registered to Ashley's name, listing our home address as the business location. There were bank statements too. Accounts I'd never heard of, all in Ashley's name. The balances made my stomach drop. Clearwater Holdings had $82,000. Riverside Consulting had $34,000. Pacific Design Associates had $51,000. Nearly $170,000 total. Not all of it could be from Jordan and me. There had to be others. I photographed every page, making sure the account numbers and dates were clearly visible. Then I found something else at the bottom of the safe. A burner phone. Different from the one under the sink, newer model. I powered it on. No password. The text history showed conversations with 3 different contacts, labeled only by initials, D, M, K. I opened the thread with D. Miss you already. When can I see you again? Soon. I have to be careful. He's getting suspicious. Leave him. You said you would. I will. Just need a little more time. These things take planning. The messages went back 6 months. The pattern was familiar. Promises to leave her husband, complaints about money, requests for loans to help with legal fees. The thread with M was similar. So was K. I photographed everything, then powered the phone off and put it back in the safe. My hands were shaking now, adrenaline mixing with something darker. Rage, maybe. Or just disbelief at the scale of it. 4 men. At least 4 that I knew about. I closed the safe, spun the combination lock, and put it back exactly where I'd found it. Then I went to the bathroom and retrieved the original burner phone from under the sink. Both phones went into my laptop bag. Downstairs, Emma was still watching television, lying on her stomach with her chin propped in her hands. She looked so small there, so innocent. The thought of her growing up with this, with the knowledge of what her mother had done, made me feel sick. But Tyler was right. I had to protect her first. Everything else came second. Emma, sweetheart, we're going to take a little trip. She looked up at me. Where? To visit Uncle Tyler. Remember him? He was at our house for the barbecue last summer. The one with the funny dog? That's right. She stood up, already excited. Can I bring my stuffed animals? Bring whatever you want. Pack your backpack with clothes for a few days, okay? Like we're going camping. She ran upstairs. I heard her moving around in her room, talking to herself the way kids do when they're focused on a task. I went to my office and grabbed my laptop, external hard drives, and the folder where I kept our important papers, birth certificates, social security cards, passport. Then I went to the kitchen and filled a grocery bag with snacks and drinks. My phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. Everything okay? Got what we needed. Leaving now. Good. Drive safe. Don't speed. Last thing you need is to get pulled over. Emma came downstairs 10 minutes later, backpack bulging with stuffed animals and clothes. She'd put on her favorite jacket, the purple one with butterflies on the sleeves. Ready, Daddy? We walked to the car together. I buckled her into her booster seat, put our bags in the trunk, and started the engine. As I backed out of the driveway, I looked at the house one last time. The 1920s Craftsman we'd spent 3 years renovating. The place where Emma had learned to walk, where Ashley and I had made breakfast together every Sunday, where I'd believed we were building something permanent. It looked the same as it always had. Charming. Solid. Deceptive. I drove toward the highway, keeping my speed exactly at the limit. Emma chattered in the back seat about her stuffed animals, giving them voices and making them talk to each other. My phone sat in the cup holder, silent. Ashley wouldn't call for hours yet. She'd go to the hotel, wait for Jordan who would never show. Maybe she'd try to call him. Maybe she'd panic when he didn't answer. Or maybe she'd already know something was wrong. I merged onto I-5 heading south. Portland disappeared in the rearview mirror. Tyler's office was in Salem, about an hour away. He'd said he could file the emergency motions this afternoon, get everything in motion before Ashley even realized what was happening. The evidence was solid. The bank statements, the shell companies, the text messages from multiple men. Tyler had said judges didn't look kindly on fraud, especially when a child was involved. Emma would stay with me. Ashley would lose everything. That was how this ended. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick it up. David? The voice was male, unfamiliar, strained. This is Kyle Patterson. Jordan Pratt gave me your number. He said you'd understand. I pulled into the right lane, slowing down. Who are you? I'm one of the others. Ashley's been seeing me for 8 months. I just found out about the money she took. Jordan said, he said there are more of us. He said you were putting together evidence. My grip tightened on the phone. How much did she take from you? $38,000, maybe more. I'm still going through my accounts. 4 men, nearly $200,000 stolen. Where are you? I asked. Eugene. I can drive up to Salem if you need me to. Jordan said you have an attorney. I want to help. I want to make sure she pays for this. I glanced in the rearview mirror at Emma, still playing with her stuffed animals, oblivious. Yeah, I said. I'll text you the address. Get there as soon as you can. The text from Kyle Patterson came through at 11:43 p.m., just as I was checking the locks on the motel room door for the 3rd time. This is going to sound crazy, but did your wife ever mention a property investment opportunity in Bend? I sat on the edge of the bed, Emma asleep in the other double. The blue light from my phone made everything in the room look underwater. No. Why? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Because she got $38,000 from me for it. Said her design firm was partnering with a developer. Showed me architectural renderings, the whole thing. Property doesn't exist. I'm a real estate agent. I should have known better. I typed, when? Started in March. Last payment was 2 weeks ago. I thought we had something real. The same timeline as Jordan, the same story, different details. I wondered how many versions Ashley had running simultaneously. Are you in Portland? I sent. Beaverton. You? Out of town. You should leave too. Why? I hesitated. Tyler had said not to talk to anyone, but Kyle was already involved. Already a victim. And something Jordan had said in the parking garage kept circling back. She's systematic. She plans everything. Meet me tomorrow, I typed. Bring everything you have. Documents, messages, all of it. We agreed on a diner in Salem, halfway between wherever he was and where I'd run. Neutral ground. I gave him Jordan's number too. Figured the 3 of us should compare notes before deciding what came next. I didn't sleep. Every sound in the hallway made my pulse spike. Every car door in the parking lot. Around 2 a.m., I pulled out the folder of LLC documents I'd photographed and studied them again, looking for patterns I'd missed. Clearwater Holdings, registered April 2023. Riverside Consulting Group, June 2023. Pacific Design Associates, September 2023. All with different registered agents, all with Ashley's signature buried in the paperwork. The addresses were scattered, one in Portland, one in Bend, one in Eugene. None of them real office locations. I'd already checked on Google Maps. A UPS store, a mail forwarding service, a virtual office space. The second burner phone sat on the nightstand. I'd been through it 4 times now, but I picked it up again anyway. The messages with D, M, and K followed similar arcs. Initial contact, flirtation, escalation. Then talk of investments, opportunities, partnerships. The amounts varied. D seemed to be small deposits, maybe $5,000 total. M was harder to track, but the tone suggested something ongoing. K was Kyle, and his messages matched what he'd told me. What struck me was the care Ashley had taken with each one. Different stories, different vulnerabilities she'd identified and exploited. With Jordan, it was the divorced prosecutor looking for discretion and connection. With Kyle, based on his messages, she'd played the ambitious entrepreneur who saw something special in him. With M, she'd been the unhappy wife in a dying marriage. That last one made my stomach turn. It was dated from 2 years ago, before Emma started kindergarten, before we'd finished the kitchen renovation. I'd been right there, sanding cabinet doors in the garage while Ashley was upstairs texting another man about how lonely she felt. At 6:15 a.m., I gave up on sleep and took a shower. Emma woke up while I was getting dressed, confused about where we were. Adventure, I reminded her. Remember? We're having an adventure. When do we go home? Soon, I said, which might have been a lie. We got breakfast at a McDonald's drive-thru and ate in the car. Emma wanted to know if we could go to the park, if we could call Mommy, if we could watch TV. I said yes to the park, later to the TV, and made an excuse about Mommy being busy with work. She's always busy with work, Emma said, which was true enough that I didn't have to answer. Kyle Patterson turned out to be younger than I expected, maybe 30, with the kind of eager face that probably served him well in real estate. He showed up at the diner at exactly 10 a.m., carrying a messenger bag that he set on the table like evidence. David? I nodded. Emma was in the booth next to me, working on a coloring sheet the waitress had brought. I debated leaving her with a sitter, but I didn't trust anyone in this town either. Kyle slid into the opposite seat. He looked like he hadn't slept either. Dark circles, wrinkled shirt, the kind of exhaustion that comes from having your world inverted. Jordan's on his way, I said. He texted from the road. The prosecutor? Yeah. Kyle opened his bag and pulled out a folder. I brought everything. Bank statements, text messages, the fake property prospectus she showed me. I even have the name of the developer she said she was working with. Called his office yesterday. He's never heard of Ashley or any project in Bend. I took the folder and started going through it. The prospectus was professional. Glossy photos, projected returns, architectural renderings of a mixed-use development that looked plausible enough. Ashley's design firm logo was on every page. She's good, Kyle said quietly. I mean, I do this for a living. I should have caught it. She's had practice. The waitress came by and Kyle ordered coffee. We sat in silence until she left. How long were you? He didn't finish the question. I didn't know about you, I said. I'm her husband. His face went pale. Oh God. 10 years, married for 8. I didn't. She said she was single. She said. He stopped, seemed to recalibrate. You have a kid. Emma. I glanced at her. She was coloring a dinosaur purple, completely absorbed. Jesus. Kyle put his head in his hands. I'm sorry, I didn't know. None of us did. That was the point. Jordan arrived 20 minutes later, looking worse than both of us combined. He'd driven through the night from Phoenix and it showed. His suit was gone, replaced by jeans and a wrinkled button-down. He looked like a different person, smaller somehow, without the prosecutor armor. He slid into the booth next to Kyle, and we went through it all again. Compared timelines, cross-referenced stories, laid out the financial damage. Jordan had his bank statements. Kyle had his. I had mine. Together, it painted a picture that was both staggering and methodical. $184,000 total, that we could prove. Probably more we couldn't. She set up a different LLC for each of us, Jordan said, studying the documents. Probably so the money trails wouldn't intersect. Smart. She kept us all separate, Kyle added. Different days, different places. I never saw her on weekends. She said that's when she had Emma. Which was true. Weekends were family time. Ashley had been religious about that. Jordan looked at me. Did you ever suspect anything? No. Not once? She was my wife. The words came out harder than I meant them. I trusted her. Emma looked up from her coloring. Daddy? It's okay, sweetheart. Keep coloring. We ordered lunch, none of us ate. Jordan pulled out a legal pad and started making notes, timelines, evidence, potential charges, fraud, theft, possibly identity theft depending on how she'd set up the LLCs. He said the amounts crossed into felony territory in Oregon, that if we coordinated our statements, if we had solid documentation, the DA would have to take it seriously. But here's the problem, he said. She's going to know something's wrong soon. I was supposed to meet her yesterday. You disappeared with your daughter. She's going to realize we're comparing notes. So we move fast, I said. We need a lawyer, a good one. Someone who can coordinate all three cases and present them as a pattern. Kyle nodded. I know someone. Criminal defense attorney who used to be a prosecutor. She's in Portland. Can you trust her? Jordan asked. More than I trusted Ashley. That settled it. We agreed to meet with Kyle's attorney the next day, bring everything we had, and let her decide how to approach the DA's office. Jordan said he'd reach out to his contacts in the prosecutor's office too, carefully, without tipping anyone off. What about Ashley? Kyle asked. What's she doing right now? I'd been wondering the same thing. She'd called my phone 6 times since yesterday. Left voicemails that progressed from confused to concerned to angry. The last one, from this morning, had a different quality, controlled, careful. She knew something was wrong. She's planning her next move, I said. Same as us. Jordan looked at Emma, then back at me. You need to file for emergency custody, today. Before she tries to use your daughter as leverage. He was right. Tyler had said the same thing. I'd been avoiding it because filing meant making this real, making it permanent. But sitting here with 2 other men she'd destroyed, looking at evidence of systematic fraud spanning years, I realized it had always been real. I'd just been too close to see it. I'll call my attorney when we're done here, I said. We stayed another hour, building our case, planning our approach. 3 men who should have been strangers, united by the same betrayal. When we finally left, Kyle shook my hand. We're going to stop her, he said. I wanted to believe him. But I kept thinking about that bathroom leak, about the burner phone positioned exactly where I'd find it, about Ashley's face across the breakfast table, butter knife in hand, smiling like nothing in the world was wrong. She'd planned everything else. What made us think she hadn't planned for this too? Tyler filed the emergency custody motion at 3:47 p.m. that afternoon. By 6 p.m., I had temporary sole custody of Emma and a restraining order preventing Ashley from coming within 500 feet of either of us. By 8 p.m., the police had frozen all accounts connected to the 3 shell companies. Ashley was arrested at our house 2 days later. The trial took 11 months. Kyle's attorney turned out to be exactly what we needed. A former prosecutor named Rebecca Walsh who saw the pattern immediately and knew how to present it. She coordinated with Jordan's office, with the Oregon DA, with forensic accountants who traced every dollar Ashley had moved through her network of fake companies. In the end, they found 7 victims, not 4. 3 more men came forward once the story hit the news. The total damage exceeded $340,000. Ashley's defense was predictable. She claimed I was controlling, that Jordan had manipulated her, that the money was for legitimate business expenses she could explain if given time. But the evidence was overwhelming. The burner phones, the shell companies, the fake property prospectus, text messages where she'd explicitly discussed how to extract money without raising suspicion. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Wire fraud, theft in the first degree, identity theft. The judge sentenced her to 8 years in prison, with restitution owed to all 7 victims. I was awarded full custody of Emma. The house, the cars, Everything we'd built together became mine by default. Ashley had no assets left to claim, and the judge wasn't sympathetic to someone who'd stolen from her own husband while running a multi-victim fraud scheme. Jordan moved back to Seattle after the trial. We don't talk much, but he sends a card every Christmas. Kyle stayed in Beaverton, eventually started dating someone new. He told me once that he still has trouble trusting people, that he checks account balances obsessively now. I understood. Emma asks about her mother sometimes. I tell her the truth in ways a 7-year-old can understand. Mommy made bad choices and hurt people, and now she has to face consequences. When Emma's older, when she can handle the full weight of it, I'll explain the rest. The house feels different now. I've changed things. Repainted the bedroom, replaced the furniture, torn out the bathroom where I found that first phone. Sometimes I think about selling it, starting fresh somewhere new. But Emma loves her room, loves her school, loves the neighborhood. This is her home, whatever complicated history it carries. I've learned things I wish I hadn't. That trust is both essential and dangerous. That the person sleeping next to you can be a stranger. That love, or what you believe is love, can blind you to evidence that should have been obvious. But I've learned other things too. That people like Jordan and Kyle exist, decent men who made the same mistakes I did and came out the other side. That Emma is resilient in ways I never expected, that she can adapt and heal and still believe the world is fundamentally good. That I'm stronger than I thought, that I can rebuild from nothing and make something solid. 3 years later, I'm still rebuilding. Still checking account balances more than I should. Still hesitant when someone gets too close, asks too many questions, wants too much access to my life. But I'm here. Emma is here. We're moving forward. Ashley will be eligible for parole in 6 years. I don't know what happens then, whether she'll want contact with Emma, whether I'll allow it, whether our daughter will want to see the mother who disappeared into prison when she was 6 years old. I'll handle it when it comes. One day at a time, one decision at a time. The same way I've handled everything since that Tuesday morning when I found a phone taped under a sink and my entire life inverted. The moral, if there is one, isn't complicated. Pay attention. Trust your instincts. Verify what you're told. And understand that the person you think you know best might be the person you don't know at all. Some leaks are easy to fix. Others destroy the entire foundation. The trick is learning to tell the difference before the damage becomes permanent.